Alrighty, people.
Yeah.
How you doing? How you doing?
How we feeling?
Welcome
How we looking?
into the stream. It's great to have you here on a Monday night where you are. Right? Yeah, Monday night.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's Monday night here. Tuesday morning for us. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thanks for hanging out with us. What's up, Gator? Gator says 86 days until week 1. And Daniel Macy also hits us with the countdown. So we got some competition now for the countdown.
You better be careful.
For the countdown, King. What's up, guys? Welcome in, Macy. Welcome in, Gator. Joel says Mike Tomlin getting an extension before Ayuk was not on my bingo card. Yeah, pretty interesting because I know there's been some conversation in the last couple of years of him potentially moving on from the team. So they decide, let's lock him up and let's not think about it anymore. So they decided to rock with Mike Tomlin. I'm sure they wanted to keep him. I just wasn't sure if Mike Tomlin wanted to stay in Pittsburgh or not, but that's where he's going to be for at least the next 4 years if it's a 3-year extension, I believe.
Yeah, something along those lines.
What's up, Sean?
Shout out to him.
What's up, Styles? Welcome in. How we feeling about the redraft kind of side of fantasy so far? You got your bearings on your rankings? So you got projections in the work?
Yes. Projections going through right now. Obviously, trying to work on that. Whatchamacallit? That draft guide that we're releasing for you guys. So
Yeah.
working on those projections, and I feel really confident right now in kind of where I'm at.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm feeling good about it.
Oh, that's good. Scribble, what's up, man? He says, y'all ever think about a Badaki Be Careful counter?
Be careful.
That would be good. What's up, Fantasy Football Garage? Maybe you can be the counter, Scribbles. What's up, Fantasy Football Garage? Welcome in. What's up, TX Cajun? Welcome in. We appreciate y'all for joining the stream. Do us a favor, hit that like button as the stream is starting. We are going to be doing a mock draft today. So let's tell people how they can join that mock draft if they want to.
Yeah, guys, if you want to join the Discord, all you have to do is join the Discord. Link in the description, and link is going to be in the chat here, as you can see. Go on the Discord there. Go to content releases. Fantasy Night tab with the Orange Footballs. Go to content releases, and that's how you can join this mock draft. Okay, join that mock draft. That's how we can join each and every single mock draft, whether that's in redraft or in Dynasty. You can see where Zach says, "Hey guys," right here. So once again, join our Discord. Fantasy Night tab with Orange Football's content releases, and that's how you can join. And I want to send that link to this mock draft. Here it is, first come, first serve. 3, 2, 1. There you go.
Yes, so this will be one quarterback. One quarterback PPR. We'll do a tight end premium as well for today's mock. It is first come, first serve. We've still got about 4 or 5 spots left. Joel says, Badaki, are your dynasty rankings updated on the Flock Fantasy site?
No, not yet. I was doing that yesterday, and then I was just prepping for my video, so that should be up here today. Guaranteed, absolute guaranteed it will be up today. Just need to once again, last thing I had to do were my tight ends.
Yeah.
So that will be up here today. Sorry about the late push on my rankings. It's been really, what I did was I completely reset it, and then I just took forever to do it, to be honest.
Yeah.
2 more spots here.
2 more spots. 2 more spots. Let me tag the community actually. Let's see. Well, that'll get us all filled up. What's up, Gator? Says Zach, your video earlier is up to 61 likes. Yes, sir. That was a fun one to record, and lots of controversy so far in the comments. Yeah. Oh wow. Actually, 69 now. Hey. 69. There's probably a funny joke somewhere, but I'm not being able to find it. Does anybody know Dax Flame over on TikTok?
No.
He's awesome. He's like, oh, there's probably a funny joke here. Anyway, Okay. 69 likes. Yes, it was a very fun video to record. And some good feedback. Some people not so happy, but that's okay. That's the case in most videos. One quarterback PPR tight end premium redraft. Remember, redraft, not dynasty. So let's try and figure out how we want to build our teams. Going here in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, let's see how we go here.
As J-Mac is up at the 101. Yeah, it's cool to see that video catching some fire, catching some waves. As Christian McCaffrey is the 101. Tyreek Hill is the 103. You went CeeDee Lamb at the 102. All these picks in the top 4 feel really, really safe, in my opinion.
Yeah, no question. I completely agree here. Goes Jamar Chase. Off the board now. Tebow's on the clock here. Quickly taking Justin Jefferson. There goes Amon-Ra St. Brown here. So a big run of wide receivers. One of the biggest arguments, or I guess disagreements we had were, if I'm specifically in the late round of the drafts here, or maybe even where I'm at, he's still going that running back route here. There goes Breece Hall going at the 107. Then Bijan Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see how we go here. I'll do your strat here today. I'll go 2 wide receivers at the start, or I'll leave it to the end to see how I feel about these running backs. Where should I draft the running back? Round 5?
It depends on how the board falls to you. And I'm not saying not to go running back at all in the first 2 rounds, but there's only a select group of running backs I would select in the first 2 rounds. And Jahmyr Gibbs is the last one on that list for me, so I will consider him here. But I'm not going to pass up Puka Nacua at the 111. That feels like a pretty crazy value. But I'm not saying I'm anti-running back in the first round, but it has to be one of 4 names. Those 4 names: CMC, Breece, Bijan, or Gibbs. Outside of those 4, I'm probably not touching a running back until about round 5, 4, somewhere around there. I just think the value is too great down the board.
Sure. So Jahmyr Gibbs and then Martin Harrison Jr. You got Puka Nacua at the 111 here.
Yes, and this is actually very difficult now. Marvin was going to be my pick. Is it crazy to take Drake London here?
I don't think so. I think we saw that in other drafts here. I mean, that would make him 1, 2, 3, what's that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wide receiver 10.
He is my wide receiver 10. I'll take him off the board there.
There goes Jonathan Taylor.
There goes JT. And maybe Jonathan Taylor is the right pick there. Let's see how my team pans out, though. I also don't like saying exactly what I'm thinking because I feel like it does impact the draft board and the way people draft as well. But let's see.
No, that makes sense there. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting draft here.
What's up, Chad? Chad says 12 team super flex, start 10, 103, 104 for Anthony Richardson and Gibbs. Anthony Richardson and Gibbs by a long shot. Not really that close for me.
Agreed. What's happening, Trey?
What's up, Trey? Welcome in, my man. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome.
As Kyren Williams goes off the board at the 205.
So we're seeing more running backs go here in the second round. I feel like than last mock draft potentially.
I'll say this: the second round in general, I don't know if anyone else feels this way. I'm not saying there's not good players, but the second round in general is the round I have the least confidence in. Yeah, it's just like all the names in round 2, you're kind of like, I feel like these should be round 3 picks. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I just feel like all the round 2 picks outside of like Marvin, JT, Saquon, London. Actually, Saquon was a name I should have drafted at the 202 now looking at it because he's in that list of running backs for me. Outside of those names, it just feels like this all feels like a little bit of a reach in round 2.
That's what I was gonna say about Saquon with you, because I thought Saquon, if I'm not mistaken, the last time we did that video, Saquon was like
Yeah,
103, or 10201 or 202, something like that.
I
So
should have taken Saquon there. It's just I just overlooked him, unfortunately. But yeah, Saquon Puka start would have been great. But everyone in round 2, I don't know. It just feels like this could really go a couple ways.
ooh, Nico Collins there.
What's up, Kiva? Welcome in. G16 says same, especially the late second. Early third feels like you're reaching on everyone without stability.
I agree. That's kind of how I feel with some of these names here.
Joel says Kyren and Bijan, nice PPR stack, which he got there at the 8 spot. Kyren's tough, man. I'm not sure I can take him that early, but I know that's where he's going to go. But
Yeah,
I could end up regretting it. It's funny because in the video where I talked about him on this channel, I said he is my RB6 in my rankings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's technically a value in my eyes, but I don't want to ride the train of uncertainty, and that could end up being to my own detriment, but we'll find out later on down the road. So you go Deebo Samuel at the 211.
Yeah, I'm not in love with it. I mean,
That's what I'm saying, dude. No pick feels good in the second round.
I feel more confident with like Saquon, London, Ayuk. I really wanted Nico Collins there. I would have smashed. I would have grabbed Nico Collins, not smashed, except or grabbed. You know what I mean?
Pause.
Nico Collins there. I know, right? Pause. I was contemplating between two players, but I wanted to see who J Mac would go here. I have him on my queue currently. I mean, last time, if you look at the last mock draft, Deebo Samuel went into 311. So maybe I just reached way too much, or I didn't go the way I wanted to here. But we see a lot more running backs gone off the board so far. Mike Evans off the board.
Okay, that feels like too late to me.
Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. That doesn't feel too late to you? I feel like he should have been off the board by now.
I would definitely take one other player, potentially two people ahead of him. One's a running back, one's a wide receiver. I'm gonna go the running back route. I just think it's too big. I think it's too late for Derrick Henry to go.
Oh, well, that's actually pretty fair. Derrick Henry that late is pretty good value.
So that's who I was gonna take at the 211, and I wanted to see who would fall back to me. And if you didn't, then we can go there. Goes Etienne. I mean, just comparing this to our last mock draft, it's completely different. We've seen less. We've seen, I don't know, it's just so different here. Like the ADP is changing, or people are believing in more players. Like Garrett Wilson here went at the 1.9, where last time he went to 201 in our last mock draft. Travis Etienne went at the 204. He just went at the 303.
That's because I took him at the 204, though. I don't think that's consensus. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was me, right?
Yeah, that was you. So there's just a lot of different. There's still a wide receiver that I would have taken. That's still on the board here.
Style says, imagine Corum gets the first carry in week 1. Shades 2 years ago of Darrell Henderson.
Oh boy.
That would be scary.
Oh boy, that would just be.
That would blow
people
Twitter
start
up.
shitting themselves.
Joel says, I think paired with Bijan, I feel more confident taking a shot with Kyren. And I can respect that as Malik.
That's who it was, Malik Neighbors. That's who I was contemplating there.
I didn't think he'd go yet. I thought I'd be able to grab him at the 311, but that's in that range, I guess.
I mean, last time in our last mock draft, he went to 211.
Did he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's very inconsistent right now, whether it's the community or maybe different people drafting, and that's what's difficult about doing some of these drafts, because people reach on other people's. Every single league is going to be different, so The two quarterbacks off the board, Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. Isaiah Pacheco going at the 3-9. Now you are on the clock here.
Yeah. Really interesting space here. Watch this space. There's like 4 names I could draft here. We're going to grab Stephon Diggs at the 311 and see what comes back to us.
Okay.
Because there's 2 other names I feel comfortable with here at wide receiver. Pittman's not someone I'm targeting in drafts this year, so that's fine. Trey McBride, I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. Considering it's a tight end premium format, I like it. Oh man, should I hit the tight ends before this run happens?
Tight end feels really comfortable to take early this year. Like, I was looking at it and I was like, damn, should I just take McBride here? I know that sounds crazy, but like, I knew he was going to come back to me earlier. So me reaching there just felt like it wouldn't have been crazy at the 3-2.
Right.
But I'm only doing that for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tight ends, and that's one of them. So there's still one more tight end I would do it for. Other than that, I'm not necessarily sure if I'm going to be taking any other tight ends in the top 4 rounds if I was going to. And this is who I thought you were potentially considering, Devon Achane. I know you're pretty big on him. I know you like him.
Love Achane.
There goes Tank Dell there.
But I'd still rather hit other positions first than the RB.
Okay.
Gator says last draft I got Andrews in the 5th. Kevin says
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts. Come on, dude.
I mean, sure.
You want me to do what? No. I mean, look, I have no issue with Kyle Pitts there. If that's who you want to draft.
I think maybe he was just talking about. I was talking about my list here. I think I was saying like top 5 tight ends I would take, and these are the tight ends I would take in the top 4 rounds.
Right.
That I feel highly confident in.
Remember, this is a tight end premium, and a non-tight end premium, I think these tight ends get pushed down the board. But I would add Kyle Pitts to that list as well, actually.
Okay.
I think Kyle Pitts is well deserving of being in that list that you mentioned. I feel like Kelsey's ADP fell too far this year, G16 says. It's funny because I saw that pick and I was like, oh, is that? I feel like maybe that should have fallen further. I don't know. It's so tough to gauge. Scribbles says Sam Laporta's price feels rich. Yeah. I get that. Devonta Smith is someone I was considering at the 402. So I like that pick at the 408.
I have 2 players I'm going to take here. I have on my queue that I'll be really excited for. Let's see. Let's see where J5.
Even in non-tight end premium, Porter's being taken 2nd, 3rd round. Yeah. It is a little bit too early, but
I think if Laporta is going to... I mean, if I feel like we felt the same way. I guess Kelsey has done it multiple years, so it's kind of hard to have a conversation about Laporta because Kelsey was doing that. I mean, Kelsey was the 1st round pick, but that was just like consistency.
The issue as well is that Kelsey was scoring like 18 points per game, whereas Laporta was at 14 last year. So
yeah,
the gap between tight end 1 and tight end 4 was not as big as the ADP is at the moment.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Interesting here on who I should be taking.
Joel says, is DJ Moore that much of a downgrade of the guys who went in round 2? That much of a downgrade? No.
Just more competition, really.
Just a lot more competition, and we are relying on Caleb Williams being good. You know, it's not a guarantee. Even though we love him as a prospect, it's not a guarantee that he is going to be good. But DJ is my wide receiver. I think 17. So I think that was a pretty good value there at the 308 to get him. You went Zay Flowers there.
Mm-hmm. He's a wide receiver. I'm hoping to fall here. Let's see.
Kirk Cousins. Let's think about it and slice on that, or Kraft. Wait, what?
Are you talking about? I think he's still talking about Kyle Pitts.
Oh, okay, right.
Hey, look, I'm not saying that. I mean, I brought Kyle Pitts as somebody that is going to be breaking out this year. I just feel more confident in these top. It's Amari Cooper. That's who I wanted. Should have went with him. I think Amari Cooper is great value here, coming into this year. Whether it's Deshaun Watson or whoever the quarterback is, Amari Cooper was the guy. That's annoying.
Should have done it, bro.
Well,
should have pulled the trigger.
He was kind of down the list there, like the 5th wide receiver on the ADP, behind Keenan, Pickens, and those other players. So I just thought that he was going to potentially fall.
There goes James Cook off the board. And now you're back on the clock here. Scribble says, yeah, not guaranteed outscore Andrews, McBride, or Kincaid, or Kelsey being priced like it's a guarantee. Yeah, that's what's difficult. That is what's difficult for sure.
Okay, I'm going to pivot here. I want to go quarterback.
Lamar Jackson off the board. Yeah, those quarterbacks are starting to fall a little bit. It's got to be tough to see the Allen and Hurts go in round 3 when Lamar's available in round 5.
Yeah.
A couple other names there as well. Pat Mahomes off the board.
And this is where you might see this quarterback run potentially here. Let's see.
Gator says, thoughts on the Houston wide receiver trio versus the Chicago trio? Well, the Houston wide receiver trio is much easier to bet on, considering we've seen CJ Stroud be successful in the NFL, and not only that, for fantasy purposes, support multiple fantasy wide receivers. When it comes to Caleb Williams, it's a projection and a guesstimation at this point that he can do that. So that's the difficult part between those two wide receiver rooms.
Yeah, I would agree. Guesstimation, brother.
It is a guesstimation at the end of the day. G16 says Mahomes had the lowest passing yard since 2019. I feel like he bounces back with the new additions, essentially, and I can definitely see that happening.
Yeah.
So there goes Anthony Richardson. I was wondering where he might go in fantasy drafts. I don't know how the rest of the community feels, but if he's going to go like top 4 or 5 rounds, I know he has the ceiling to be the quarterback 1. I just think I'm going to be priced out of paradise at that point.
Let the price keep falling.
Okay, I was going to say if Kyle Pitts is still on the board, I'm going to be so pissed I took Mark Andrews, but he goes. And how about that? Alvin Kamara, available to me at the 5'11". Waiting until running back until the 5th round, and beautiful Alvin Kamara shows right up into my lap. I'll take it.
That's what you want.
I'll take it. Thank you very much.
Dan the man.
3 guys I'm starting with in the first 3 rounds that I think are going to be very effective in PPR formats. I get Mark Andrews, the Titan Premium, and I still get Alvin Kamara, who I believe is my RB12, my RB14 in my rankings. But as we know, his ceiling is obviously high. Kyler Murray goes at the 6-1.
There you go.
I'm still going to wait on the quarterback position. And
have a couple players I think I can go with here, which is exciting.
We're going to let the wide receivers fall a little bit further, and we're going to grab another running back here. I will grab my RB17 in my rankings, Aaron Jones. So I get Alvin Kamara and Aaron Jones as my starting quarterbacks, or running backs, excuse me. And I didn't draft them until the late 5th round. I feel pretty good about that. What does that make them off the board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. As Terry McLaurin and Jaden Reed also come off the board. Then James Conner.
What was it? What was Aaron Jones? What was your running back? What?
He's my RB17.
Yeah, but you counted them.
RB18, I believe, off the board.
Okay.
Joel says, give me that Stroud Dell stack.
Give me that dirty.
Sammy's going with Rice at the 6-6. I guess he's assuming that Rice is not going to be suspended. We do need to find out some more information on that this offseason.
There goes Swifty.
DeAndre Swift off the board at the 6-7. Now Tebow's on the clock. He's got Jefferson, Olave, Devonta Smith, Josh Jacobs, Joe Mixon. And now another opportunity here to improve his squad. As David Montgomery comes off the board.
That's who I wanted. That's okay.
Monty off the board.
That's okay.
Mystic Flame says, has y'all done the puppy but super flex on underdog yet? I managed to snag Hurts, T-Law, AJ Brown, Laporte, and Neighbors in the first 5 rounds. It's a nice haul.
Nice.
No, we haven't been able to do it just yet.
Yeah.
I have no idea who Denniston Oliver is, Stacy. I have no idea. Does that name sound familiar to you?
No idea. Denniston Oliver.
I have literally no idea who that is.
So it sounds like a made up name.
Yeah, it really does. Is that that DJ Moore's name? If I remember properly, Denniston. I remember he has like a really weird name. Is that DJ Moore's name actually? Yes, it is. It is DJ Moore's name. I'm glad I caught that. No, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I have him currently ranked as my wide receiver 17 in my rankings. Obviously, we love the player. We love the talent. Last year, I'm not going to say it was good quarterback play. He just had a very high percent of the target share. The hope if you draft DJ Moore is that the quarterback play is much better, even though he won't have the same target share. So
these running backs are just flying off the board here. Not in love with any of these running backs here, to be honest with you.
Joel says, did you guys see Stevenson's extension report? I did not see that. Did Ramondre Stevenson get extended?
They're saying that they were close to an extension, which is exciting if you're a Ramondre Stevenson person.
That I definitely did not see that coming.
Okay, I mean, I was hoping for Ramondre Stevenson there. I'll take Zamir White here.
So Ramondre might get an extension in New England. That was 6 hours ago reported.
Shout out to Ramondre.
So there's potential for that to get done before the preseason, which is great for him. I wonder how much they're going to pay him. Style says, thoughts on... That's got to be to his name.
Yeah.
George Kittle goes off the board at the 6-12. Nice little run of running backs in the 6th round. I feel good about getting Alvin and Aaron Jones there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 running backs in the 6th round after I took Aaron Jones. I like Zamir White. I definitely like Zamir White. I think he's a very good pick in fantasy drafts.
He's an interesting pick. I'm not super confident in Zamir White. Like I'm not confident in. I would have been happy with Montier Stevenson falling to me. I would have been like I'm buzzing.
Yeah.
But I think for me that confidence falls significantly. I'm not confident in like the Connors, the Swifts, the Aaron Jones, the Najees, and Zamir White. So I'm not confident in them. So
Sure.
I just needed to get somebody there because I knew some of these running backs weren't going to come back to me, and maybe I should have punted. I'm going to go wide receiver here. I'm going to go DeAndre Hopkins. You have to remember playing on the edges as well, like not being scared to get the guy a little bit because like someone like DeAndre wasn't going to come back to me. Someone like those running backs were going to fall back to me.
I thought Deontay was a huge value there. I was hoping he might fall to me. Where did... Oh, wait. Okay. We're going to have an interesting conversation here in a second. I'm not going to say certain names. I like Cooper Kupp at the 4-7, by the way. I really think he's a great pick in fantasy this year. Kirk goes at the 5-9. Okay. I got some names in mind here from my pick. Javonte Williams comes off the board. Gator, we'll get to your question in a second, my man. I'm trying to zone in on my next pick. I'm also drafting here. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to zone in on this next pick, brother. Joel says it's my favorite receiver round. Who retires first, Keenan Allen or Cooper Kupp? I'd say Keenan.
Yeah, I would say Keenan as well. Cooper Kupp has that long-term stability, it feels like, with the Rams, where Keenan might just be like, all right, I don't like jumping around. Let me just let me hang it up here.
Yeah. Might lose interest in Chicago. All right, let's see. I got some names in mind here.
Kevin is just saying a bunch of random names here.
Evan Ingram off the board. Damn it. All right, we'll switch gears here. I really want to Ladd McConkey that round. Ladd McConkey and Deontay Johnson were two big names I wanted.
There you go. Sammy Stacks here. Brees Hall, Rashad White. Ayuk, Keenan Allen, Richie Rich with Chris Godwin off the board there.
Chris Godwin off the board. Hollywood Brown, another guy I was considering drafting there. There goes Joe Burrow.
Joe Boom.
Dan the Man says, I kind of regret taking Kyler. Yeah, it's tough when you go like a onesie position and then no one does it on the way back.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the conversation we got to have then.
Okay.
You have DeAndre Hopkins ahead of Calvin Ridley?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I would have Calvin ahead of him by a couple spots, not like drastically. I have Calvin as my wide receiver 37, DeAndre as my wide receiver 39. What's the reason for Hopkins ahead of Calvin, I guess?
Chemistry. Chemistry, and I think coming in, obviously, you know, what we've been talking about was the offensive line improvement, Will Levis doing all that, but I think I don't have the stats in front of me, but if I'm not mistaken, the A dot was pretty significant when it came down to DeAndre Hopkins when Will Levis was on the field. which is exciting. And that may change now that Calvin Ridley's here and be a little bit, it'll be taken down just a little bit, obviously. But I think DeAndre Hopkins can still demand targets here. Calvin Ridley, as much as I do see success and he might be the better value, I think the floor is safer with DeAndre Hopkins because of the chemistry that he has with Will Levis coming into this offense. And look, I think both of these guys are great values, just purely based off of Brian Callahan coming and producing
Projecting the new offense, right?
Yeah, projecting a new offense and understanding that we've seen T. Higgins be successful. We've seen Jamar Chase be successful. Both of these guys are a little bit older, but I'm giving the edge to Hopkins because of the chemistry that he has with this offense and the understanding, or not with the offense specifically, but with the quarterback. So that's how I feel about DeAndre.
That's fair. I guess none of us really know exactly what's going to happen in that situation. I just like that. I like betting on Calvin there. You know, he's always demanded a high target share, as DeAndre Hopkins has, and this is the regime that brought him in. So I feel like if they were comfortable with D-Hop as their number one, they wouldn't have brought Ridley in, but it could also just be like
they also needed somebody.
They needed more help. Yeah.
Yeah, they needed some people. So
yeah, I got Ridley as a number one there, but it wouldn't surprise me if it ended up being Diop.
I agree.
All right, so I don't go running back until round 5, and I get Kamara, Jones, Brooks. What do you think?
I'm not a huge Aaron Jones believer coming into this year.
Okay.
So I'm not in love with it. I would say I love Kamara and I love Jonathan Brooks, but I think we can both agree maybe Jonathan Brooks gets that work in the second half of the season potentially. At least we feel more confident in the second half of what he's going to be producing. Maybe a slower start in the first half of the season. I think that's what I've always been saying, especially with the injury. But Alvin Kamara I think is phenomenal value. Like I look at my running back room and I'm seeing it and I just like, man, like should I have just went Derrick Henry and then Travis Etienne? And then maybe I would have maybe I don't take Lamar there at 5'2", and I don't take Zamir White at the 6'11", and who do I take? You know, and there's other running backs here that can give me depth for sure, but not as confident that I would say it would be with Derrick Henry and Travis Etienne, and then seeing what that wide receiver room looks like. So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
If you told me that like. You got Alvin Kamara.
Also gone Mixon at the 411 or James Cook at the 411 as well.
Yeah, I could have 100%. I would have felt confident in that as well. So I was waiting to see where that round 5 running back or round 6 running back will fall to me, kind of like what you did.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't the running backs that I've wanted. You know, I was hoping Stevenson or Monty would fall to me there. Because I saw how deep the running, like I saw Mixon, Kamara, Walker, you know, Monty, Ramondre. I thought one of those guys will fall to me, but that's fair. Like, that's how I feel right now.
30 seconds on the clock now, by the way, as we're getting towards the back end of this draft. I love the Raheem Mostert pick. Another example, you know, look, A-Rich at the 5'6", I get it, like shoot for the moon. It could make or break, you know, your fantasy season. There are other options that I have ranked similar to A-Rich that I think are available down the board, but I really love Laporte is a little bit too high. But like, if you look at this team overall, Amon-Ra, Neighbors, Kupp, McConkey, Laporte at tight end, A-Rich at quarterback, Swift and Mostert. There's no reason why that team can't be competing as the best team in the league, assuming Laporta is still the tight end 1 and assuming Anthony Richardson stays healthy. So I like that start as well. I like team 1. He went CMC as his anchor, then Waddle, Evans, Cooper. Still got James Cook as his RB2. I like that start. Gator says, I want to take Tank Dell this year, but do you think Stroud can supply 3 wide receivers along with the pass catching of Mixon? It's a fair question to ask. We saw, you know, CJ support at least Nico and Tank at the same time. Can he do that with Stephon Diggs there? I mean, I think it's a fair question. There might be some up and down weeks for certain players, but I think you're betting on whatever player you think could, break away from the pack. And if you're not, you're betting on just getting in that wide receiver room with Tank Dell. He's not the price that a Nico is. He's not the price that a Diggs is. And you still get to be a part of that wide receiver room. So I think you're just betting on one of those names and hoping that it pays off for you at that point.
Yeah, I agree. You had to pick the names that you believe in. For me, I would say I would go Nico and Tank over Diggs. But a lot of people, I think the community disagrees with that. People see Stephon Diggs over Tank there. So it just depends on how you feel about these players. I think he definitely can produce all three on a week-to-week basis. Like if you're telling me all three of these guys could potentially be top 25 finishing wide receivers, I would say that might be a bit difficult. Two of them I think would say will, and that could be any combination on any given week, which could be the difficult part.
I was hoping to grab Jaden Daniels later in the draft. I let him fall too far apparently, and that's all right. Styles says in a vacuum, I take Ridley over D-Hop, but D-Hop will be a fine value. I agree.
Yeah.
Elite duo in 2019.
I mean, that's crazy if you think about it.
Bowers feels risky in redraft. Is there going to be enough targets with Adams commanding such a high target share? It's a good question. It's definitely a good question. We don't really know the answer to it, but we don't. Has Laporta set unhealthy expectations? That's another important question we have to ask ourselves as well.
I don't think there is unhealthy expectations personally, because one of the biggest conversations last year was that, well, we shouldn't be drafting Sam Laporta, or we shouldn't be believing in Sam Laporta because obviously Jameson Williams was suspended the first half of the season. But even when Jameson did come back, so Laporta was still the guy, and maybe that is a different conversation now because Jameson. This is the first time Jameson is going to be with the team. It feels like going into OTAs and into the season, but I think the expectations is kind of where I think it needs to be. If you're telling me Sam Laporta could be scoring, even if it's a tight end two price at the 2.7, I think it might be worth it potentially. I mean, if you think
the argument for me against Sam Laporta last year in drafts was not really anything to do with Jameson Williams. It was more about historically how tight ends have produced as rookies. And it's really bad historically. If you look at the last decade outside of Sam Laporta's season, I think Dalton Kincaid is a much more reasonable expectations for Bauer rather than the likes of a Sam Laporta. It's very rare. I don't know if it's actually ever happened for a tight end to come in his rookie season and finish as a tight end one in fantasy. So that's why I think the expectations are a little bit unhealthy, simply because it's never happened before, and the vast majority of history tells us not to expect it. I'll take Jameson Williams here as we talk about him. So it's less to do about Jameson Williams last year for me rather than what history told us about the tight end position as rookies. So that's why I think the expectation is unhealthy, because we have seen a tight end finish as the tight end one as a rookie. And now people talking about Brock Bowers as the best prospect ever. I think the hype might be going a little bit too far in a certain direction.
I guess my question then is, like, if a rookie tight end established themselves as that, shouldn't we be expecting somewhere near that? Like, if you're telling me Sam Laporta finishes as tight end 3 this year, I don't think that's a massive disappointment. I guess it depends on the fantasy points per game.
I'm not talking about Laporta. I'm talking about Brock Bowers.
Oh, yeah. I guess I was going back to the Sam Laporta conversation.
Oh, okay. Well, we weren't having that. Okay, so you're talking about Laporta or Bowers now? Laporta?
Yeah, I was talking about Laporta. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Because about the expectations.
Well, we were talking about Laporta because he set the expectations for Bowers. So
the expectations. So I would agree.
On the spectrum here?
When it comes down to Bowers, I think if we are expecting Bowers to put up a Sam Laporta numbers, then the community should be drafting him higher. But that they clearly don't believe that.
Right, but you're drafting him over multiple starting tight ends.
I mean, in this draft, I feel like his price is pretty decent. I would say maybe the only tight end that is a conversation is still on the board. If he falls to me, potentially. Let's see.
Sure.
Um,
Took Zeke at the 10-2. Don't love it, but there's a chance he's a starter for Dallas, so I'll take him there.
Curtis Samuels, I like that pick. I was contemplating him at the 9-2 there.
Joel says, my only hesitation with Ridley is Levis. I'm very certain Ridley is who we think he is. Yeah, Levis is definitely a wild card at this point.
No question. I think that's the hesitation when it comes down to anyone on that team. But when you look at that offense and you look at everything that's going around, Will Levis is for him to fail. Like, there's no excuses for Will Levis coming into this year. Improve the offensive line, at least the expectations, a high-powered offense with Brian Callahan, and then also the weapons around him. Calvin Ridley, Deontay Johnson, Tyler Boyd, and Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears. There's no excuses for the guy. So, like, yeah, you may lean on it, and then it may crumble.
Joel says, which Denver wide receiver will lead the team in receptions? It's probably going to be Courtland Sutton.
Yeah.
But outside of him, there's a very, very big question mark on the rest of that receiving core. A lot of unproven names, a lot of coach speak that hasn't turned to production. You've really got it all in that Broncos wide receiver room outside of like a true stud. Styles says 0 RB seems to be a nice strat yet again this year with the running backs that were available in the 9th. Yeah, in the 9th you got Gus Edwards. I like that play as well. Devin Singletary, who's an RB1. You had Tajay, Brian, Zach Moss if you want to bet on him being the guy. So I kind of get it. I like those bets in the 9th round if you're getting solid wide receivers to begin your drafts. Dallas Goedert goes off the board at the 10-11.
Yeah, really the last tight end I was comfortable with.
Your boy's still on the board, though.
He is still on the board. With them, I'm coming to the dark side, unfortunately, I think.
Is it over for him?
I don't think it's over. I think it's expectations lowered. You know, I think if they didn't draft Rome, I think he would still be there, but I'll still feel confident in him, but
sure.
I think having those 3 guys now, it's a little bit tough to gauge.
Yeah. Josh Downs off the board. Dak Prescott goes at the 10-10. So wide receiver I got my eye on.
Yeah, me too. I didn't take him though. I have him on my queue. I wonder if it's the same one that we're thinking of, but I have him on my queue. Gonna bring him on my list this week. Sleeper wide receivers here.
Rioza goes double quarterback in the 9th and 11th round. Jonathan says, got pick 105, half PPR. Should I go Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra, Hall, or Bijan? Feel like CMC, Chase, Hill, and Lamb will be taken ahead of you. It's a good question, man. Half PPR, I do think the running backs come into play, like a Bijan Robinson. Becomes much more appealing to me. I think right now my answer would be Amon-Ra of all those options.
Yeah, for me, I think I would still go Justin Jefferson. I know PPR it's tough, but Justin Jefferson, it would still be it for me, and I think that's where we disagree. We look at Justin Jefferson a little bit differently this year, but I guess I'm going with the talent a little bit.
I mean, I'm
Josh
pretty
Palmer off the
talented, I'd
board.
say.
Oh no, I know. I guess a lot of people weigh situation over talent.
I like the Wicks pick. I was definitely considering him there. All right, we'll grab our starting quarterback in the 11th round, Brock Purdy. Feel pretty good, pretty comfortable with him being my starter there. Let's see what comes back to me. Demario Douglas, a little love for Pop.
Interesting. Okay.
Which I like that. I've said this a couple times, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pop is the number one wide receiver there this year. I know in the Dynasty community we're all obsessed with the rookies that just joined. But I wouldn't be surprised if Pop is the number one. Not saying he will be, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting spot to be in here. Will that player be available when I come back around? I don't know the answer.
Let's see.
We're gonna grab Brandon Cooks here. I think he's gonna have a very very good season.
That's who I was talking about at the 11 too. I had him on my queue. I already have CeeDee Lamb. I think he is somebody that's gonna have a phenomenal. I completely agree. Phenomenal season. We saw him pick it up in the second half of the season where they really started to include him. They didn't draft anyone else. They didn't bring in anyone else. Yeah. I think Brandon Cooks is significantly undervalued, and another guy can easily rise up boards here because if CeeDee Lamb goes down and misses a couple games, if Jake Ferguson goes down and misses a couple games, Brandon Cooks is the guy.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the pick.
I'm a little bit concerned about how high I have him, but I don't see how this offense changes. Like this, I don't see how this offense doesn't continue to throw the ball as much as they can with losing Pollard and gaining an older Zeke. I just think they're going to throw the ball a ton again, and I have Brandon Cooks ahead of Rome Odunze right now in my projections. Now, clearly, Odunze has the much higher upside. Not even close. I have him ahead of Christian Watson. I have him ahead of Chris Godwin, Cortland Sutton, Keon Coleman.
I haven't gone too far when it comes down to my wide receiver rankings, like the depth. I have like my top 30.
Yeah.
Ish. Or top 20-ish. So far, but Brandon Cooks is definitely up there, and I think I can definitely see him being ahead of there. I'll take my wide receiver one here. But yes, I love him. I'll bring him in a video this week for you guys in the redraft perspective. 10+ sleepers that you should be drafting coming in. Some of these late round guys that no one's really, are just forgetting. Being some late round flyers, and that can be league winners for you coming into this year, which is going to be exciting. And Brandon Cooks is definitely going to be on that list.
Yeah. If you're watching the video, yet hit the like button. Do us a favor, hit that like button for us. Show us some love. Easy way for you to support the channel. Wide receiver one, Trey.
That's right. Well, nah, I'm joking, guys. If you guys know me, I love Quentin, but it's definitely Lab McConkey. But getting Quentin at the 12-11 ain't hurting you. It's not hurting you whatsoever.
It's a fine risk reward pick. What's up, Crime? Welcome in. What's up, WG? Welcome in. Kevin says, weird to see Gabe Davis go in the 10th round. Where do you think he should go, Kevin? Do you think he should be higher? Should he be lower? Plum says, what draft positions are your favorite this year?
That's a good question. I've been trying to figure that out myself. I'm liking the end of the board currently right now.
I do too, but mainly because of the first two rounds. I feel like the second round from like the 204 onwards is really tough to digest. But I feel like if you have a pick from like the 110 to the 111, the 112, you can get two players that you really like. Whereas the back half of the second round is very difficult to really project.
Sure. Yeah.
But you can draft a winning team from anywhere.
Yeah, no question. Question. Rico Dowd as well, man. I think very people think of Zeke, and I think where's Zeke go in this draft here?
I took him at the 10-2.
Oh, you took him, right? Okay. Are you taking Zeke or Rico? I think Rico. I don't think it's automatically Zeke. I think it's maybe a 50-50 type of backfield right now. It's not exciting whatsoever.
Yeah.
But like, would you be surprised if Rico outscores Zeke this year? I don't think so.
No, I got Zeke with 39% of the rushing share, and I've got Rico with 37%.
Yeah,
so I do prefer Zeke at this point, but I think they both could be values considering their ADP.
Yeah, especially on a week-to-week basis, that might definitely change. We saw Zeke doesn't look the same, but maybe he'll be more the goal line guy, and Rico's more, first and second down, maybe a pass catching guy. Did he do a lot of pass catching this past year? I know.
Who's this?
Rico. I know. Yeah, I know that. I know Tony Pollard. He had 17 receptions, 22 targets. Okay.
He had 22 receptions.
22 targets. Sorry, I think I said.
Okay.
22 targets,
receptions.
17 receptions. So
that's hard to get super excited about. But
I guess, are we getting excited about what Zeke is doing? I mean, how much
I think
Zeke
he'll be the goal line back. So yeah, it's more
Zeke last year 51 receptions in New England.
So I pass on quarterback until the 11th round. I end up with Brock Purdy and Justin Herbert. I know that the offense has completely changed in Los Angeles, but this feels like a huge overcorrection. What does that make Herbert off the board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Jordan Love is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That makes him the quarterback 17 off the board. He's never finished that low on a per game basis. Top 8 in 3 of his first 4 years. I don't know. That feels a little too low for me. My last pick here.
I would agree with
grab
you.
Jaleel McLaughlin with this last pick here.
Okay. I agree with you, Joel. Joel. Never rostering one quarterback, but I think last year really changed a lot of things.
Yeah.
Last year, if you only drafted one quarter, I guess, let me ask you, you must have either not had a quarterback that was injured, or you had a quarterback that was injured, but you probably got lucky enough to get them off waiver wire. And people just spend their fab. Like, I guess if you're in a smart league, people were just picking up quarterbacks to sell them.
Yeah, it was hard to find a great quarterback last year.
I mean, there were so many quarterbacks that went down. It says I won my league with Joe Flacco. Yeah, and you were lucky enough to get a quarterback like Joe Flacco.
I don't know that that's only a recipe we want to repeat. What's up, Hughes? He says, when I was first learning about Dynasty a few years ago, I joined one of you guys' mocks, took Zeke at the 112 going into 2022. Y'all laughed, and then it taught me never to do that again. I'm thankful, Marshawn Boyce.
I think that was the Tony Pollard breakout year.
Hopefully we didn't laugh at you. Hopefully we were like, this is why we wouldn't do that. But
knowing us, we would have been like, bro, you stupid. Nah, jokes. That's cool though. That's crazy how everything kind of switched up.
I don't like rostering one quarterback, more than one quarterback, if I spend a premium on them. I'll say that. Like, if I'm you who took a quarterback in the 5th round, or someone who took one in the 3rd or the 6th, okay, yeah, I'm not rostering 2 quarterbacks.
I think it depends on that. I think it depends on the quarter. Like, for example, Lamar's injury. Lamar has missed time, so I would be more inclined to take a quarterback unless it's like a Jordan Love,
sure,
a CJ Stroud or something like that.
Well, let's be honest. If you take Lamar in the 5th round and he goes down with a season-ending injury, your team is screwed.
Yeah, no question.
But I get it, like covering it off.
Yeah, covering it, and just in case, right? Because in reality, you're probably going to drop that player if Lamar is healthy, and then be like, oh, maybe I'll just. The first person you're probably going to drop is your quarterback too, um, depending on how confident you feel to go get the best guy on waiver wires, or maybe just somebody you don't really like. Like for example, my case maybe it's Rico or Quentin to drop it and get somebody else. So
Yeah. Um, well, that is the mock draft for today. We appreciate you guys big time. Do us a favor, hit that like button on the stream. Good news is that video that I released today is available for you to watch if you want to go give that a watch. 10 players that I am not drafting based off their current ADP. You guys have been awesome, showing a lot of love. I'll put that link there in the chat. Go watch that if you haven't done so. Hit me with a comment. Let me know what you think. Hit the like button, subscribe. But we appreciate y'all big time. We'll be live tomorrow on the Dynasty channel. And we will be helping people when it comes to building their Dynasty teams out. But we appreciate you guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you soon. All love.
Love.